The Rahr interview, baby.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to get to that here in just a moment. But first, we want to talk to you about our friends over at Yelp.com. Yelp is a really cool service that lets you read and write reviews about all sorts of businesses, like bars, hotels, or even gas stations.
It's got a social component with check-ins and quick tips while you're out. Their mobile app is available for BlackBerry, iOS, Android.
And Time Magazine just named it one of the best iPhone apps of 2011. So check out Yelp. Real people, real reviews.
At Yelp.com.
Now, let's move on to Jen, the Beergoddess, interviewing Fritz Rahr.
Wonderful interview, man.
Jen did a great job with this interview, folks. We're really excited to have her around. Let's roll the footage, Rich.
Hi, everybody. Good to see you again. I'm Jennifer. Thank you for coming back, everyone who watched last season, and welcome to all the new viewers. We're here today because we have a special treat. We're at the Rahr Sons Brewery in Fort Worth, Texas to talk to Fritz Rahr. Okay, we are here with Fritz Rahr now. Fritz, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, Fritz, go ahead and start with giving us a little bit of information about the brewery. How long have y'all been open?
Well, we're in our 7th year now, and we started off in 2004 with roughly 6 fermentation tanks, but we have grown to now 14 fermentation tanks and right around 12,000 barrels of beer.
Wow, that's great. We know that the roof collapsed last year, and we were keeping all of our viewers updated on everything that was happening. What has happened beneficially since then, and how has the brewery grown?
Well, you know, at first we thought the roof collapse was this horrible, horrible thing that happened, and it was, don't get me wrong, but we received so much support from the community, so many people coming out wanting to lend a hand. We were constantly in the press, constantly on TV, constantly on the radio. You know, you couldn't buy that kind of, advertising to begin with. So really, after it's all said and done, the roof collapse may be the blessing in disguise because things are going quite well now for us. And as you can see, we've rebuilt the brewery and, things are moving right along.
I can totally see that. How did you get your start? Were you a home brewer first?
I guess I was kind of a home brewer. My family's in the malting business. So when I was a kid, I would bring home malt from the malt facility, and my dad grew Hallertauer hops on the fence outside by the pool. So I think as young as 13, I was brewing beer as a small child growing up. So I guess, yeah, I can consider myself a home brewer.
We've noticed that you have quite an interest in the home brewing community. Is that an important thing for you? Absolutely.
I went to one of my very first homebrew meetings when we first decided to open up the brewery. And I remember talking to them about how, the brewery is really going to be your brewery as well. We want to support you. We want to do everything we can. So we've been very fortunate to grow some wonderful relationships with the numerous homebrew clubs in the area, specifically the Cap and Hair Club in the Fort Worth area. And, we try to do everything we can for them. We like to promote their events. We like to host some of their events here at the brewery. And in return, they come in and they do a lot of wonderful things for us too. So it's a really great relationship.
Well, that's good. I do know that you have a competition here called the Iron Mash competition. Some of our viewers out there may not know what that is about. Can you tell us what the Iron Mash competition is?
The Iron Mash is really neat. It's a competition where we bring in probably 30 teams from around the Texas area, Oklahoma, and Louisiana. And they come in, and the only thing they can bring is their water. Everything else is provided for them. They get the grain, they get the yeast, they get the hops. And then they are also provided various secret little ingredients like peppermint or black pepper or agave nectar or whatever. And they have to use these ingredients and incorporate them into various styles of beer that they decide to brew. And then once that has happened, there'll be a judging of those beers, and then of course an awards ceremony and a big party. And it's a lot of fun because we get some really weird, wild, wacky stuff, but we get a lot of quality beers that come out of it as well.
What type of ingredient, what is the weirdest type of ingredient that you think you would like to use in a beer?
When we lived down in the Virgin Islands, they had a tree down there called the tamarind tree. And it's actually, it produces a fruit that's very, very high in sugar content. It doesn't necessarily taste wonderful without adding additional sugar to it, but I've always wanted to try to brew something that incorporated that tamarind fruit in the beer.
Something to look forward to. Well, we have a question for you. Dogleg Brewery is all about bridging the gap between frat boy and beer snob. And we want to know, where do you rank yourself in that?
Frat boy or beer snob? I don't know. We just brew beer, and we have a good time doing it. I don't know where we fall in between those two categories. Probably somewhere in between.
Okay, like right in the middle, you think?
Probably.
All right, that's good. Well, please tease us with something new that's coming up on the horizon for us to look forward to.
Well, we've got something really exciting. We did our barrel-aged winter warmer this year that we aged in Jim Beam barrels. So we are going to come out with our second bomber series in that To These series that we're doing now, and it's going to be called Snowmageddon. It is how should I sound this without sounding really weird? The celebration of the roof collapse. We should probably be celebrating the roof raising of the new roof, but we're coming out with a beer that's going to be an annual beer. It'll be coming out in February, mid to late February, and it'll be in celebration of the roof collapse and the building of the new brewery. And this year, that style will be an Imperial Oatmeal Stout, coming in at roughly 10% alcohol, and that will be out late February. And the next year, we'll do the same thing, but we will brew a different style of beer for that Snowmageddon beer.
All right, awesome. Snowmageddon. Can't wait to get it. All right, Fritz, thank you so much for being here with us. Cheers. Oh, we have a last-minute question. Tell us about you being a child model. I didn't know you were a star so early.
Well, as you can see, the good looks here of my mother, who's on the label of our blonde lager. She was Miss Minnesota. She was second runner-up in Miss Universe pageant. She was a model. She did all this stuff growing up. So as a child, for some reason, she wanted me to get and do some of that stuff as well. So I remember, being 10, 11, 12, going to Target and doing photo shoots for clothes, or going to International Harvester and doing photo shoots for seed, for grain, and all this other weird stuff. But yeah, I did a little bit of that as a kid growing up. But, as a puppy, everybody's cute. And then as we get older, we start becoming uglier. So I guess I kind of fell out of that model stage when I was roughly, 12, 13 years old. So.
Oh, a challenge for our producer. Rich, we need you to find some of those photos. All right, Fritz, thank you so much. Cheers.
Thank you.
Well done, Rich. Look, everyone, please give it up to not only Fritz and Jen, but the entire production staff that put that together. Rich did a great job. We've got a great camera crew. We're really blessed to have things rolling here on You Can't Brew That on television.
Agitation, frustration, the memorization of the things I'm gonna do to you. This magical and powerful addiction to the pain affliction on your pulse.